Before we begin, please note that the information shared on this channel is for educational and informational purposes only. I am not a licensed financial advisor, and nothing in this video should be considered financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. All investments carry risk, including the potential loss of principal. Past performance does not guarantee future results. Always do your own research and consult with a qualified financial professional before making any investment decisions.
Imagine a single AI data center using as much electricity as a small city, running 24/7, every day of the year. Now multiply that by hundreds of sites worldwide. The big question is, what's actually going to power all of this? Cheap solar and wind, or a new wave of small nuclear reactors like Oklo's microreactor and NuScale's SMR? In this video, I'll break down Oklo versus NuScale in simple terms, then compare nuclear to solar and wind to see what's really more cost-worthy for the AI infrastructure boom. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, we talk about the technologies and infrastructure that will shape the next decade, from AI to energy to massive data centers. Today we're going deep on nuclear, but I promise to keep it as jargon-free as possible. Let's start with one term you'll see everywhere when people talk about power plants: MWE. You'll often see reactor sizes written as 15 MWE or 77 MWE. MWE simply stands for megawatt electric. It's a measure of how much electric power a plant can output. Think of 1 megawatt as enough to power roughly hundreds of typical homes, depending on the country and usage. So when we say Oklo is targeting tens of MWE and NuScale modules are 77 MWE each, we're talking about how much usable electricity they can feed into a data center or the grid. Now that's clear, let's look at Oklo. Oklo is building a very compact advanced reactor called the Aurora microreactor. It's designed to deliver on the order of 15 to 75 MWE per unit, with the current flagship design often described around the 50-75 MWE range and very long core lifetimes, potentially 10-20 years between refueling. Technically, it's a fast-spectrum reactor that can use metal fuel and is designed to make use of existing used nuclear fuel as input. In plain English, it's a small, efficient design that tries to recycle part of the waste from the older nuclear fleet. The key idea is a small powerhouse you can drop next to a data center, an industrial site, or a remote community. Oklo's business model is power as a service. They want to build, own, and operate the reactors and sell power and heat through long-term contracts instead of you buying the reactor itself. For AI, the pitch is dedicated, always on, low-carbon power, right next to your servers, in a footprint way smaller than wind or solar would need for the same output. NuScale takes a different approach. Instead of a tiny fast reactor, they shrink down a more traditional design, a pressurized water reactor, the same basic technology used in many large nuclear plants today, just made modular. Each NuScale power module is rated at 77 MWE. You combine these modules into a plant configuration they call VOI-GR, 4 modules, about 308 MWE, 6 modules, about 462 MWE, 12 modules, up to about 924 MWE. So where Oklo is sizing itself like a block for a single data center or industrial site, NuScale is more of a small utility-scale plant that can power entire cities or huge industrial clusters, including multiple massive AI campuses. NuScale's big advantage is regulatory and technology familiarity. It's a light water reactor, so regulators and utilities already understand the basic physics, fuel, and safety systems. NuScale has design certification from the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission, which is a big step in getting actual plants built. Their business model is to sell the technology and plants, plus engineering and long-term services, mainly to utilities and large industrial players. Let's line these two up specifically from an AI data center perspective. Oklo strengths: right size blocks. Tens of MWE per unit is a very natural size for a single data center or a cluster of AI halls. You can add units as your load grows. Long core life. The idea of 10, 20 plus years without refueling means minimal fuel logistics and highly predictable operation. Fuel recycling story, using used nuclear fuel positions. Oklo as a sustainability and waste reduction play, which large tech companies love for ESG reasons. Oklo challenges. It's a fast reactor, which regulators have less experience licensing compared to conventional light water designs. That can mean more scrutiny and longer timelines. The company is still pre-revenue, with ambitious schedules. Delivering the first real plant on time and on budget is a major execution risk. NuScale strengths uses well-known light water technology, which reduces some technical and regulatory uncertainty. The modular approach means you can scale from a few hundred MWE up to nearly 1 gigawatt with the same building block, ideal for huge multi-tenant AI campuses or entire regions. Already has design certification, giving it a head start versus many other small reactor concepts. NuScale challenges. Early projects have faced cost and schedule pressures like much of new nuclear construction. Most of its revenue so far is from engineering and design work, not operating plants, so commercialization still has to be proven at full scale. From a target market angle, Oklo is aiming directly at data centers, federal sites, and industrial loads with small, powerful units, while NuScale is targeting utilities and national-scale projects that can also feed data centers. Now, how does all this compare with solar and wind for powering AI data centers? On a pure cost per MW, large-scale solar and onshore wind are usually cheaper than new nuclear. That's why you see so many solar and wind farms getting built. The headline, levelized cost of energy, is very competitive. But there's a catch. AI data centers don't take breaks when the sun sets or the wind calms down. They need flat 24/7 power with extremely high reliability. To run an AI-heavy site mostly on solar and wind, you need massive overbuild of renewables, plus storage like batteries, and/or reliable backup from the grid or gas plants. All of that adds system-level cost and complexity. Nuclear, including SMRs and microreactors, flips the trade-off. Higher upfront capital cost and longer development time, but constant, always available output that directly matches the round-the-clock load profile of AI workloads. Over a 40-60-year plant life, that firm, predictable power can actually be more cost-worthy, especially for very large campuses, because you're not constantly rebuilding solar wind fleets and storage, or worrying about long periods of low output. For the next few years, most AI data centers will still lean heavily on the existing grid, with lots of solar and wind plus gas or market contracts providing firm power. If you only care about the lowest short-term electricity price, that mix is hard to beat. But if you're planning a mega campus with city-scale power needs and you care about long-term low-carbon reliability, a dedicated nuclear solution starts to look compelling. In that world, a NuScale-type SMR plant could anchor an entire region, while Oklo-style microreactors could serve as modular, co-located power blocks for specific sites or edge locations. If you found this breakdown useful, hit like so more people see it, and subscribe for deeper dives into the technologies behind the AI revolution. Let me know in the comments, would you trust a data center powered by a nuclear microreactor, or would you still prefer solar and wind plus storage? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.